Tanjiro kneels amid the ruin and smoke, hands still trembling from all the weight they're carrying, grief, guilt, and a stubborn hope that refuses to quit. Right from the start, you know this isn't a simple monster hunt anymore. It's everything that Demonslayer Corps has been building toward, and Tanjiro is front and center, doing that thing he does best, refusing to give up on people even when the world tells him he should. The story pushes us into the heart of a catastrophic plan from Muzan Kibutsuji, whose cruelty has become more desperate and ingenious than ever. He lures the strongest slayers into the Infinity Castle, a surreal, labyrinthine pocket of space where time and logic bend to his will. It's a battlefield designed to spread the core thin, to pick off the Hashira one by one, and to break the will of anyone foolish enough to stand against him. No spoilers there, literally. The whole place feels like a bad trip authored by someone with way too much time and very bad intentions. Tanjiro, accompanied by his sister Nezuko and friends Zenitsu and Inosuke, is split from the others early, and that separation matters. The film wastes no time showing how that separation is both tactical and emotional. The core fractures across multiple fight sequences, each one forcing characters to face more than just physical opponents. The Hashira show up as heavy hitters and as walking backstories. You get Gyome with his earth-shaking presence, Sanemi's sharp edge and hard luck past, Mitsuri's wild heart, and Muichiro's detached brilliance. Each of them carries the Corps' legacy, and each carries old scars that this battle ruthlessly picks at. A lot of the film is a kind of orchestral chaos. We jump from room to room in the Infinity Castle, and Ufotable's animation makes those cuts feel cinematic and brutal in the best way. It is fight after fight, but it's not empty action. Every clash peels back characters. When the Hashira trade blows with Muzan's ever-morphing form and his remaining upper moons, we learn about how much they've sacrificed to get here. There are moments where a flurry of sword strikes tells you more about someone's past than any flashback possibly could. That economy is why these big set pieces land emotionally. You really feel why each strike matters. Tanjiro himself is tested on multiple fronts. Physically, he faces monsters that once seemed unstoppable, and mentally he's walking a tightrope. He's been exposed to Muzan's blood, and the threat of becoming the very thing he is sworn to destroy hangs over him like a storm cloud. There's a heartbreaking scene where Tanjiro's compassion becomes his vulnerability. His memory and empathy start to slip, and it's painful watching him waver. The film handles his near transformation into a demon with care. It's not just spectacle, it's tragedy. You find yourself rooting for him in a very personal way, because he isn't only fighting a villain, he's fighting the possibility of losing himself. Nezuko is, as always, a wild card and a calm center at once. Now more in control than in early seasons, she becomes both Tanjiro's shield and the clan's secret weapon. Her presence in the castle flips expectations. She's no damsel, she's a reckoning. Watching her instincts as a demon run parallel to her careful control as a sister creates this powerful duality. She's terrifying in combat, but deeply human in motive. The film gives that relationship room to breathe. There are small gestures, an exchanged look, a protective move that anchor the chaos to something human. And yes, it gets emotional. Don't be surprised if you find yourself quietly tearing up during one of those quieter, intense beats. Zenitsu and Inosuke add the necessary heart and comic relief without ever undercutting the stakes. Zenitsu's comic cowardice continues to be played for laughs, but his courage when it counts is unmistakable and earned. Inosuke's brashness masks his loneliness, and the final gambits he makes show how he's matured in the messiest, most sincere way.
They are frequently paired in sequences that are both thrilling and oddly sweet, reminding you why this trio has stuck together through nightmares and night trains alike. The film is also very considerate of the Hashira's humanity. They're not just power-ups for the finale. Each Hashira gets a moment to show why they fight, and those moments often come with a painful price. Some give everything, and sometimes more than their bodies could hold. The movie doesn't shy away from sacrifice. It frames it as both noble and devastating. The loss felt here is not melodramatic, it's honest. Characters who have been pillars show cracks, and those who have always been sidelined step forward into terrifying brilliance. It's rough, it's cathartic, it's necessary for the emotional payoff the story is aiming for. And here's where the narrative tightrope gets gnarlier. Muzan is not just a big boss to be defeated. He's a force that warps reality, memory, and identity. His ability to rearrange the battlefield into mind-bending spaces turns fights into psychological duels. One minute you're watching a graceful sword dance, the next minute you're inside a mirror palace where the Slayers are forced to fight their own doubts. That's what makes the Infinity Castle feel alive. It's an antagonist with a personality, and it's as cruel as it is cunning. The pacing leans hard into crescendo after crescendo. Big set piece, quiet reflection, unexpected loss, regroup, then bigger set piece. It could be exhausting in lesser hands, but the storytelling keeps it readable by centering on characters' small choices. A decision not to strike, a whispered name, a remembered lesson from a dead friend. Those details thread the action together. The movie is rigorous about causality. Things that happen early have consequences later, and the script doesn't pretend otherwise. That's satisfying because when the emotional moments land, you know why.
One of the most intense arcs is Tanjiro's internal collapse and the way his friends try to pull him back. When he finally succumbs, and it is sudden and terrible, the film doesn't linger on the gore for its own sake. Instead, it explores horror as an erosion of self. Seeing Tanjiro turn and the crew respond, desperate to save him without killing him, is a gut punch. The subsequent fight is less about technique and more about identity. Do you kill someone you love if you have to? The answer here is messy and human, not tidy. That gives the climax depth. The final confrontation with Muzan is a dizzying mixture of desperation and hope. There's strategy and there's sacrifice, but above all, there's collaboration. The core throws everything they've got at him: sword techniques, cunning traps, sheer willpower. And even when things look their bleakest, the film makes a point. It's never been about a single hero. The combined effort of people who believe in each other is what ultimately erodes Muzan's domination. It's emotionally satisfying without being hokey, because the sacrifices feel earned and the victories cost something real. Of course, the visuals at that climax are spectacular. The animation gives weight to moments that could easily have been overwhelming or confusing. Movements feel consequential. Blood and breath have texture. The music scores those swings from terror to quiet resolve beautifully, and the voice performances sell the emotional stakes. It's a sensory barrage that mostly behaves itself, meaning it insults your brain as little as it overwhelms your heart. The aftermath is tender and reflective. The survivors are left to reckon with loss, trauma, and a world that will never be the same. The film resists neat closure in every way that matters. It doesn't give everyone a victory parade because that wouldn't be truthful. But it does render a ledger of healing, small, stubborn scenes of people rebuilding, laughing through the pain, and honoring those they lost. There's a kind of quiet hope that creeps in, not the flashy, triumphant kind, but the stubborn, realistic kind that says, "We will keep going."
One of the most grounded things the movie does is its epilogue, which ties the supernatural arc back to the human cost and the ripple effects across generations. Families try to move forward. Scars remain but don't define every day. That choice to end on something quieter than a grand fanfare actually feels right. It respects the characters by giving them a life beyond spectacle. It also leaves room for the audience to breathe, to reflect on what was given up and what was saved. There's humor threaded throughout, believe it or not. The film manages to break tension with the kind of small human moments that make heroes feel like people. It's the ridiculous line Zenitsu blurts when it matters least, the way Inosuke refuses to wear anything resembling clothes properly, and the tiny knowing looks between Tanjiro and Nezuko. Those beats of levity keep the drama from becoming oppressively grim, and they make the losses sting all the more because you cared about these folks when they were being silly.